all the news on the AB5 issue. Are you keeping up to speed with us? Hey, buddy, say hi. Check this this cool character here wants to say hi. Here's something I wanted to share with you, and I find this rather alarming that the Uber head counsel, right, Tony West, he basically now is looking, Edmund, how are you, buddy? He is looking for a way to reclassify drivers so that he can basically skirt the law on AB5. This is his latest plan. If you guys Google Tony West, you will see numerous Twitter feeds. For example, here it says, Uber says it will not reclassify drivers as employees in the wake of landmark California law, despite the lack of ride-hail exemption in AB5. Lead attorney argues Uber is exempt from requirements because drivers' work is outside the usual course of Uber's business, right? Another person says it's interesting to read Tony West's argument for why Uber needs to be immediately nationalized and every existing stockholder wiped out. Uber truly believes drivers are not core to its business. It should just do without them. I'll wait. So basically he's saying that the drivers are not part of our business. We're a tech platform. The drivers are not part of our platform. And that's disgusting. If he thinks he's going to get away on that angle, good luck to Tony West. Another person writes, Tony West says the company won't obey new California law declaring drivers as employees because drivers aren't central to its business. Drivers aren't central to its business. Just listen to that, folks. Let me repeat that. He says, because drivers aren't central to its business. Uber doesn't give rides. It serves as a tech platform for several different types of digital marketplaces. And now you wonder why they just hired over 1,000 new engineers for the freight division. They want to restructure this and buy time, right? They lost this AB5 around big time. And you know what? I'll tell you something that also saddens me. You cannot buy into fear marketing, right? You just cannot buy into Uber's tactics of fear marketing. We know the history. And it upsets me that some guys are flip-flopping, some YouTubers are flip-flopping on this AB5 issue. When you are negotiating big deals, especially now, and we're negotiating from a point of strength, right? We got these guys right there where we want them, right? Now, our Governor Newsom, you know, he might come out the hero. We might crucify him at the next election. He cannot sell the drivers out. Now, so he's sitting down. What people need to understand is how this political system plays out when you have a bill in place. There's going to be a lot of back and forth between Uber and Lyft and other gig companies and our California government, right? Governor Newsom is not just going to go in and say, well, hey, in principle, I'm all for this AB5. I'm going to sign off on it. No, they're going to hash out big backroom deals. This is what's going to happen right now. So for YouTubers to go out and say, and read back to you the fear marketing tactics that Uber and Lyft are using. And I want to show you what fear tactics are. Let me just show this to you so you clearly understand. Anybody got this type of email from Lyft? Uber sending out the same one. As a result, you may soon be required, right? That's the legal language, may. It's not definite, you may. So it's all based on fear marketing. You may soon be required to drive specific shifts and stick to specific areas. No changes have gone into effect yet, and we promise to let you know when they do. So basically saying, hey guys, you know what? AB5 passed, and now it's sort of like time, we're going to punish you. We're going to stick you in a certain area. We're going to tell you what your shifts are going to be. They're using the word may. What many drivers don't know, and this is when you react out of a position of fear, is that you buy into the psychology of this nonsense, right? They say, and we promise to let you know when they do join us in continuing to advocate for a solution that keeps you earning on own terms. So complete fear, admitting open cards that they have the weaker deck, right? We right now have the strong deck. And we have to negotiate the best deal. And this is not, I'm getting emails from drivers where they say, well, hey, in the next 24 hours, am I going to be put on shifts? Will I be an employee? Will I be driving shifts? No. So I'm requesting, and they're good friends of mine, I'm requesting that the Dustins and the Kevins and other people are not buying into the fear tactic of Uber and Lyft and now start making videos and say, hey, you know what? Guess what? You could soon be on shift. You might soon be turning an employee. Understand something, folks. We won this round, right? These were 2 boxers going into the ring for 15 rounds, and we got the technical knockout. Now we sit down with the boxing management, and they want a rematch, right? They want a rematch, a second fight. And now we can dictate the terms, right? Because our boxer won this fight. The weaker guy now wants a rematch. So we're going to dictate the terms. This is far from over. This is going to go all the way into 2020, folks. This is not something that you have to be afraid of, right? And say, oh my gosh, I'm now an employee, AB5 passed, and my whole world is going to be turned upside down. That's precisely what these guys want to achieve here. Why do you think they started this $90 million fear marketing initiative? You're going to be seeing a lot of these emails. When you are in a deal, when you are negotiating a big deal and you know you have the upper hand, meaning that person across from the table wants to buy that piece of land because he owns that other land adjacent and he needs that land to expand his or her shopping center, right? You have the upper hand. You know that they need that location. You own that location. Now you're going to negotiate the terms for that location. That is the position that we are in now. So I want to use very simple business terms, very simple business terms to explain where we are and what's happening. What's happening, folks, is that some people are now reacting to the fear campaign, right? I'm seeing videos of Kevin and Dustin flip-flopping on this situation. We got to stay strong and we got to stay united. And I'm actually going to try and see if I can get Edward Escobar, who you guys enjoyed that last session, who has a wealth of information on this particular subject, right? He was a guest on my on my channel the other day. I would like to, here he is. That's him right over there with Gonzalez, right? She was one of the main ladies fighting for the drivers, right? And we won 29-11. Now that we have the stronger hand, we got to say, okay, Uber and Lyft, we understand you're desperate. Even prior to this AB5 ruling yesterday, you were putting offers on the table of $21, right? You were upping your offer. We have to take the very best and explore what the very best offer for us is. Don't think now that this is, hey, AB5, you're all employees, right? And this is the new way it's going to be going. And I find too many YouTubers are just being impulsive. I think they're flip-flopping on this. You got to act from a position of power. That's where we are right now, right? And not succumb, not fall into the trap of these emails that we're going to be showered with over the next week, 2, 3 weeks, few months, right? Like this one that we just got. I just read it to you, right? So for Tony West to come out today and try and skirt the law and say, hey, you know what, drivers are not part of our business. Our main business is a technology platform. Drivers are not the core. Wrong, buddy. You're wrong. You're fundamentally wrong. And Gonzalez, I believe, and I got to read this. Here's, I think, what did she say? She had a great answer to this. I'll have to find it. But they cannot skirt the law now and say, hey, you know what? We are going to come up with a new set of legal perimeters, and we are not going to, we're going to show that the drivers are not the core part of our business, but we're going to restructure this, and we're going to call ourselves a technology platform so that we can skirt this AB5 ruling, right? So again, Uber says it will not reclassify drivers as employees in the wake of landmark California law, despite the lack of ride-hail exemption in AB5. Lead attorney Tony West argues Uber is exempt from requirements because drivers' work is outside the usual course of Uber's business, right? Let me read this to you. Because we continue to believe drivers are properly classified as independent drivers, will not be automatically reclassified as employees even after January of next year. Uber is trying to win time. Understand that the end goal, the alliances that they are doing with the auto industry is autonomous vehicles. That's where they want to get. So they're using us as a bridge to get to that finishing line, right? Autonomous vehicles where drivers are obsolete. So if they can keep this in court as long as possible and fight this, means they don't have to pay. Let's see, what do we have here? Even Mark with Uber Hints is talking about the devastating effects of AB5. That's because Uber Hints is buying into the fear marketing, man. Guys, don't understand. Has anybody seen how bills get rewritten and reformed? This is not set in stone. I'm just saying we have the upper hand. So if Uber Hints, if Mark is reacting to the news that he's receiving from Uber and say, hey, guess what, guys? We're only going to be able to drive on one platform. That is the $90 million they are spending, and they want you to take the bait, guys. I don't think Uber Hints, Mark, has been part of a multi-million-dollar a deal signing, right, where multiple people are in the room and are hashing this out. You hear a sound bite here, you hear a sound bite there, and you're reacting out of fear. Got to stay strong, right? So you got to stay strong, and you got to keep your ground. You got to protect your turf right now. We have the upper deck, and we need to sit down and negotiate the very, very best deal. The people that were moaning and groaning and excuse my terminology, but bitching about the current conditions and the current pay, right, as independent contractors, were all crying foul. They all wanted something better. Now that Uber is using the fear card, they're like, oh my God, maybe it's better we need to stay independent contractors and eat out of that same food trough and accept those same terms that they're feeding us. Seriously? But is that what you are okay with in the last 6 months, when you've been reduced to nothing on your earnings, right? And now you're getting scared. You have them, folks. You have them. Mark, Uber Hints, you have them. Dustin, you have them eating off your plate right now. They have shown how scared they are. And how scared they are, they've shown that they're willing to put up a $90 million war fund. They've already started the fear marketing. And some YouTubers like Mark at Uber Hints is buying into it. Buying into it. Plain and simple, right? This has to be hashed out Governor Newsom with his people will be sitting down with them. The state wants to see some money. The state hasn't seen any money from Uber. Uber has used every tax law to skirt paying taxes in the United States by registering their copyrights, their patents in the Netherlands, right? They're not paying any US taxes. They'll only pay US taxes the moment they make profits. But guess what? When Uber starts making profits, they're not going to pay any taxes because they are leasing from the Netherlands. They are leasing the patents to this company. The company is registered in the Netherlands, right? In a tax-exempt location. So they have no intent of paying nothing, no money into the system. California is not seeing any money. The only people who are making money right now are the airports, where they put a charge on drivers coming into the airports, right? Whether it's San Francisco, LA, or San Diego, those airports are seeing a little bit of money. California, the usage for the roads, the usage for the platform, California is not seeing any money. The United States is certainly not benefiting in any way from taxes because Uber is registered as a patent holder in the Netherlands, right? A lot of tech companies do this, right? Why do you think that Amazon, Uber, Google, and all these companies pay nothing? They're paying nothing into our system, right? They're making money on the US market, but they're not paying anything on taxes, right? And that has to change, right? They have to be contributing towards this economy. If the biggest powerhouses are finding every legal loophole to circumvent taxes because they can re-register and loan the technology from a tax haven, we, the Americans, lose out, right? So Uber and Lyft have shown their true intentions here, time and time again. If you haven't noticed that, well, wake up and smell the coffee, guys, really. And now some people are succumbing, are giving in to their fear marketing, right? You know the history, you know how you have been treated, and now you have to come from a point of power and negotiate the best deal. And the only people that can do that for us, not sell out, is Governor Newsom and these folks. Hash out the best deal with Uber and Lyft, right? They don't want this AB5. It's going to cost them $550 million. So now the state has to say, Governor Newsom, as the governor, has to say, hey, I, as the governor, I want to be re-elected by my people, by my drivers. So I got to protect my drivers. The same with Kamala Harris. The same with all these others. They want to be re-elected. So they cannot sell out the driver, right? And I also understand that they have to facilitate the company. So they're right in the middle playing this delicate dance. But whatever little dance they're doing, it will be better than it was before. Because the way, I mean, when I say there was before, the way it is right now, are you happy with the earnings? Are you happy with what you're getting right now, folks? I'm not. And again, show that unity of strength. If drivers start getting split up through tiny little silly fear marketing campaigns such as this, then there is no hope, right? There is no hope. If you guys are making videos and if Mark Uber Hens is reacting to information like this and saying that AB5 is going to be devastating for drivers, then he has given in to their fear marketing. That means he's making videos on all the points that Uber and Lyft want to feed him. I want to see if I can get Escobar on the phone so we can talk about this ruling. I had a long, good conversation with him this morning. Let me just see. I've just shot him in. I've shot him in a text message. I'm sure he will, right, come onto the platform so we can say, okay, AB5 has been ruled on 29/11. What now? What are the next steps? Versus us pumping videos out there and being reactive, you know, fear videos. Oh, they're going to do this and this and this to us. Let's make a video. You know, you're going to get a lot of subscribers out of that. I'm not hunting for subscribers. I'm What I'm doing is I want to take a position, right, and negotiate as hardcore as possible with Uber and Lyft and get the very, very best for drivers, right? I am not flip-flopping on my position, never will, right? And this is also part of the conversation that I had with this gentleman from Drivers Unite, is that now you truly have to unite and put the pressure on Gavin Newsom that he does negotiate the best deal, right? Because they have to come to the negotiation table right now. They're forced to the table, right? Who says, James Campbell says, Uber hence is a unique creature, as are many Uber tubers. Everyone has a position here. Everyone has a channel. Everyone's out to educate or share information. And then when it comes to issues like this, right, I'm sensing some division. I'm sensing some people react and falling for the very, very cheapest Uber and Lyft fear tactics that they have started as of this morning. I've seen the videos already coming out, reacting to that news, reacting to the scare tactics that they are now sending out. Cannot cave. You're right in the process, sitting at a table, negotiating the very, very best deal ever for drivers, right? It's going to be give a little bit, take a little bit, but you have to come out better, and we will come out better than we have right now, right? But now to run off to these forums and say, oh my God, what did I do here? Maybe AB5 is not the right thing. AB5 is the beginning of a tough, of a tough negotiating process where we have to come out the victors. Victory has to be in our camp, not making videos and say, hey guys, go and rush and sign those petitions now because this I may have changed my position on AB5. BS. Let me see if I can get him on the phone, if he'll take it. It might be working.
Thorsten, bad timing.
Bad timing. When are you available, my friend? I'll keep this feed going.
I got to shoot out. I was hoping to take care of this early in the afternoon. I got to shoot out. I'll probably be back around about 2 hours or so.
Okay, so can we comfortably say 7 p.m.?
7, 5, 7. Yeah.
Okay, so to all the subscribers, listeners, people in this channel, I have to do a follow-up video with Edward because it's really important that you understand what's happening on this ruling and that we do not buy into the fear tactics. I was just saying that too many people are succumbing to these first fear attacks of Uber and Lyft, Edward, and I'm not going to steal your time. I'm going to be respectful of your time. I will call you at 7 if that's okay.
Okay, yes, you got it.
Okay, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. So what I can tell you is that I know how to negotiate, and I know how to negotiate tough deals, big deals, right? But the meat, the essence, the ingredients, the recipe of this whole AB5, how this all came about, there is no person, and I've spoken to tons of people. I've been up to Sacramento. I've met with some of the politicians. I am meeting with Gonzalez as well. I'm driving down to San Diego to do a feed with her, right? But there is no one who understands the beef, the meat of this bill better than Edward Escobar. And I'm going to bring him in at, let's see. So, you know what? Naveen says drivers not being core to business is such an offensive thing to say to drivers who bust their asses. This is Tony West, guys, and you 150% correct on that one, Naveen. This is now their reaction. Oh, we will find a way to skirt AB5, right? Because drivers are not core of our business. I'm not making this shit up, my friends. Go and Google it right now. Tony West, read the tweets, what he said. That drivers are not the core of our business. That's not what our business is about. to try and circumvent it. Do you understand how much fear and how scared they are? That's why we got to stick together, guys. Seriously, it's why I'm calling on Dustin, Kevin, Uber Hens. Stick together with your drivers and act strong. Because I am seeing ripples. I am seeing cracks, right? In the stories that you put out there first, and now you're reversing and flip-flopping, especially you, Mark, Uber Hens. And I'm not scared to say that we have one position and one position only, that we have to negotiate together with Gavin Newsom the very, very best deal possible for drivers. Better than it is right now, right? So if you guys don't believe me that these are fear, comes in today. Let me read you this. As a result, you may soon be required to drive specific shifts and stick to specific areas. Now, oh my God, let's make a video about this. We're going to be, maybe we have to drive on one platform. We're going to be put into one area and we're going to have to do specific shifts. You falling for this seriously? And you're making videos on this? This is fear. This is the start of the $90 million fear campaign that they announced, right? You have them, my friends. You have them. Now stick together, right? Stick together. And I'm appealing to the guys who have a big following out there. Stick together. If we divide drivers right now, they win. If we unite drivers right now and put the pressure on Newsom, Gavin Newsom, and I'm going to do a couple of videos because and I'm going to call the officers of Gavin and Newsom, and I'm going to send the information to them. Look, this is the position of drivers. Don't sell out. You know, we can connect with over 1 million drivers in California. That's who we can connect with, right? 1 million people. And 1 million people out of a population of 32 million people is a lot, right? So we have a lot of voting power. And we got to put the pressure on Governor Newsom. Do not sell out the drivers, right? He said flat out that he has to now sit down and negotiate with Uber and Lyft. Uber and Lyft have no other choice, right? So no boss lifestyle, I 100% disagree with you. YouTubers outside of California have studied the bill thoroughly. We are against it because of the unintended consequences that are going to bite drivers in the ass. And when you say outside of California, you got to put names there. Put the money where your mouth is, no boss, right? That's a very, very loose statement, right? That is someone who is succumbing and giving in to the fear tactics. That's all I have to say, right? You don't have the guts to stick this out and negotiate a better deal for your brothers and sisters, right? And now you're taking a parachute. The rest of the world is looking at California to protect them, and it's our duty to protect those other states. It's our duty now to protect those other drivers. The UK, Australia, everyone's looking at these rulings. It is our duty to put the pressure on the politicians and hash out the best deal for us, not to succumb to the basic fear marketing, not to succumb to statements like Tony West today, drivers are not the core of the business. We'll find a way to skirt around this law and we'll keep this in court for as long as we can, because guess what? All of you are disposable at one stage. Our end goal is to get to autonomous vehicles. At least allow us to earn decent wages, decent money for the next few years until we get to AV, autonomous vehicles, right? But if you want to be a cheap sellout right now, no boss, go for it, my friend. Make a video. Make a video. I've read the bill. I've read the bill. And I understand the classification based on the Dynamics ruling, right? That in the true classification of that Supreme Court ruling, we are not independent contractors, right? That's how they would like to keep us, so that they can continue paying you what they're paying you right now. Who in this room is happy with the earnings that they're getting right now? Are you truly happy? No, boss. I mean, if you're in Australia, you're making way more than us in the United States, right? Because you have far stricter rules that are protecting you over there in Australia as a driver, or in the UK. Not here in the United States, right? These guys have reduced us to 25 to 33 cents per mile in certain markets. And you're okay with that? So you're okay with working another 5 to 10, 15 hours more per week to make up for all those deficits? If that's you, if you're a sellout, continue as is, my friend. I am here to fight for better conditions. I'm here to put the pressure on Gavin and Newsom. I'm here understanding if a person like Gonzalez is contacting me, right, that they want to do a show, right, they know that they're up against a lot of resistance and that we have to stick together. But if we crack and fall apart and show our weaknesses and succumb to fear marketing, we lose. Don't be surprised at that point if you guys go and sign there, join us. Oh, I'm scared. I'm going to go and join them right now because maybe they're right. How have they treated you over the last few years? Correct. And Scott Tucker, I am not arguing with you on that one. Self-driving cars are going to kill the rideshare business, but that is where Uber and Lyft wants to get to, right? So the less they can pay from this point, September 2019, to autonomous vehicles, hopefully keep this in court now, their goal, right? Hopefully keep this tied up, maybe all the way up to Supreme Court again, right? Or fight California on this as long as they can so that they can keep on paying California drivers and other out-of-state drivers those shitty per mile rates. But our end goal, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is autonomous vehicles, because all of you, including myself, will be replaced. Means my vehicle, the cars that I lease out, are all obsolete. Eventually, we're going to get to self-driving cars and fully autonomous cars. That's where they want to be. So I think it is the biggest slap in the face if their lead counsel comes out today. Google it, please, Tony West. Read the tweets, right? That he is willing to skirt the law because drivers are not the core of our business. We're a tech platform. Drivers don't have anything to do with us. I agree with you, Gary. I agree with you. We have to get paid what we are worth. And that's what I'm fundamentally, Tim, 100%. You know, Tony West, their legal counsel, is throwing every one of us under the bus. Oh no, they're not the core of our business. Hang on, Tony. How on earth did you get paid? How on earth did you make money on your shares that are dwindling, right? How on earth did Travis Kalanick just get his $36 million penthouse in New York, right? Oh, we are not the core of your business? Come on, dude. Shame on you if that's your attitude towards drivers, legal counsel, Tony West. Shame on you. Shame on you. You know, hey, you got to read between the lines. Trying to buy time, trying to keep this in the legal system, trying to circumvent AB5. Our duty is to put massive pressure on this governor. And yes, he's going to be sitting in back rooms, talking. Oh, come here, baby. You really think so? That's maybe you're talking about yourself. Maybe we have a little turd here in the room that we're going to flush. Come here, baby. Full of hatred and anger. There we go, sweetheart. Off you go. Now we're talking no boss lifestyle. The answer is to create a new company. The answer is to create multiple new companies that will put pressure on them. Now we're talking. That is one of the best solutions that I have heard in this entire feed. I only hope and pray that some guys get creative, right? Knowing that there's this new industry called rideshare. Let's say there's this new industry called Airbnb, right? You used to all be concentrated around hotels. Everybody used to go and get a hotel, a motel, 3-star, 5-star, along comes Airbnb. I hope that there are more players that'll jump into the Airbnb market. I hope that there are more players that'll jump into the rideshare market and mix it up, right? To put that competition, to put that pressure on Uber and Lyft. So that's like one of the best suggestions I've heard here. But for the people now, I'm just repeating myself, for the people right now that are caving and showing cracks and the first signs of fear, succumbing to these little psychological, we may do this to you. We may punish you, little boy. We may punish you, little girl, for your ruling. But guess what? We'll give you a chance. Come and join us now, right? Guys, don't fall for cheap tricks. Anybody been in having the upper hand in a negotiation process when you know that the people want it so bad, they're literally willing to eat it, lick it straight off your plate, right? That's where you are right now. You don't just take the plate in hand and say, here's a free meal, take it from us. No, you want a piece of my pizza pie? You want to share it with me? Let's be fair. What are you going to pay me for half of my pizza pie? Right? I'm doing the work. I'm doing the cooking. I'm rolling the dough. I'm driving the hours. I'm putting in the hours. I'm working at 4 a.m. in the morning. Show me what you got, Uber and Lyft. Right? But I just feel like some people that are making videos right now have never, ever negotiated a big deal. Right? Never sat down with multiple people at a table and hashed out a big deal. I remember when I bought the whole commercial properties up in Angeles Oaks. It's a zip code. Essentially bought a zip code with all the commercial rights, the surrounding land, 600 acres. This is a multi-million-dollar deal, right? And then I'm sitting in a room fighting with the people over the mineral rights, water that supplies the entire town. Sitting on purchased the water rights, the water distribution facilities, the pumps, purchased it all. And these guys were basically stealing, the water board was stealing from the residents, right? Charging them an arm and a leg, taking most of the money, right? Whereby the true mineral rights, and I'm just saying this as an example, were far, far lower. So we said as the new owners, hey, and I bought the properties with a consortium of people, said, hey, these people deserve better prices. Why are you pocketing all the money, right? So we took the matter to court, and we won that. We won that in court, suing the past water board that we bought the properties from, right? Because they wanted to manipulate and bully the pricing and coin all the money. Typical Uber and Lyft move. So I've been in these situations, sitting with 15 people in the room, 6, 7 attorneys, and hashing it out, right? Got to stand your ground, got to come from a point of power. You got to come from a point of integrity, honor, and have to say, hey, if you want a fair deal, bring a fair deal to the table. And that's where I believe we have Uber and Lyft right now. They want to come to the table. They were throwing in these last minute offers pre-AB5. Hey, we'll give you this and give you this. They were scared, and they're still scared. And they showed today how scared they are with Tony West. They're trying to skirt around this law to say drivers are irrelevant. They're not the core of our business. So I'm asking those YouTubers, don't crack under pressure. Don't succumb to fear marketing. Don't flip-flop on the issue. But do this, stay united, stay strong. Who you want to put on pressure right now, where you would help as any outside YouTuber from another country, from another state, put pressure on our legislators, on Governor Newsom, right? That is where you want to put pressure. If anybody wants to put pressure on, connect with California citizens and say, hey, Governor Newsom, protect California drivers, get the very best deal, because the very best deal you get in California will help the people in Michigan, will help the people in Florida, will help the people in the UK, We'll help the people in South Africa. We'll help the people in Colorado. We'll help the drivers in Vegas. So make sure you connect with every Californian that puts on pressure on Governor Newsom right now and says, do not sell out 1 million drivers. Bring them the deal, bring them the money, bring them the rights, bring them the terms that they deserve. Versus, oh, you know what? I'm getting really scared right now. I'm going to join their campaign. You know, I can't handle the pressure. This is too much for me. I'm going to go and sign this. Folks, golden moment here. You know, it wouldn't be difficult to replace Dara, Gary. It would not be difficult to replace him at all, right? There are some very basic things we can do immediately with Uber and Lyft that will, you know, you go and spend $500 million, or $500 million on a PR company that has helped you nothing. You've spent no money on safety. You've spent no money on security for drivers and passengers. The same problems that you've had a year or 2 years ago are happening again and again and again and again. And the reason why I made that video yesterday with the flags, walking through all the flags, showing how many people died on 9/11/2001, my message was very, very clear. Go back to that video. That on that day, people huddled together, right? Doesn't matter where you stood in politics, whether you're a Democrat, whether you were a Republican, what your main concern was, let this never, ever happen again. How do we address the safety, the security that no plane flies into another building and kills as many people as died in Pearl Harbor? Never let that happen again. And I tell you what, both parties rallied together, changed the laws, changed the way they did the IDs, the passports, the way they handled airports, the way they introduced security systems, right? And they tightened up. They spent the money and changed the laws on keeping citizens, every citizen, whether you're US, Jamaican, British, whatever, keep them safe. This had a ripple effect around the world. This was not just the United States. Everybody tightened up their security because nobody wanted another incident like the Twin Towers, right? And here we are, 18 years later, knock on wood, it hasn't happened again. So the companies took action and spent the money where it needed to be spent. Safety, security. I don't want to be a flag. I don't want to see in 5 years that my buddies here are flags on a lawn because Uber and Lyft didn't have the decency nor spent the money on safety and security for the drivers. They have the power to do so, but they would rather now engage in a fear factor campaign with drivers spending $90 million to fight. And again, did anybody go and Google Tony West today? Go and read the tweets on the main page of Google, where he flat out says their legal counsel, the drivers are not the core of our business. They are a side product. Wow. Wow, guys. Somebody tweets here on Tony West, putting aside whether you agree with the law or not, this is an interesting strategy. This is a strategy, right? Tony West, Uber's chief legal officer, said they would not treat drivers as employees under the California bill. He said that drivers are not a core part of Uber's business. You and I, my family here, my house, your house, we are not. Let me get the exact words here. He said that drivers are not the core part of Uber's business. Well, I ask you, Tony West, what is the core part of your business? Is it Dara K? Right? Is it the investors? Who made you the money? Who got you to the finishing line? Tell me. Please, Tony West, I'm challenging you to tell me who the core of your business is. I'm waiting. Call me, 480-393-6318. I'm waiting for your call right now, Tony West. Tell me who is the core of your business. Apparently, it's not the drivers, as you say. So No Boss Lifestyle's politician and our own government were in on it. In on what? Finish the sentence. Texas rideshare guy, show me the money. That's what I'm interested in. Show me a good deal, negotiate a good deal, and show me the money. I fully agree. Dara and Tony, pack up, leave. If you are out there making videos opposing this AB5 now, taking Uber and Lyft's side on this, that's what they want, right? They don't want this AB5. That's, if you're taking their side after they've disrespected you and said you're not even the core of the business, who are you? Do you have a heart? Do you have a soul? Do you have any integrity? Right? Who are you? I'm asking you, who are you if you are such a cheap sellout? Right? Please do not throw the drivers under the bus right now. We have to rally, connect with every California driver to put the pressure on these few politicians, especially Governor Newsom. Go out there and make videos. Hey, Governor Newsom, I hope when you're sitting down with Uber and Lyft, you have the best intentions for the drivers at heart. If not, next election, you're out, right? And there is nothing wrong with putting that type of political pressure. Either a politician is going to sell out to corporate interests because he's going to get a lot of money and he sees more gains there, or more money coming into his Senate campaign or governor campaign from a company, or he's going to take a roll of the dice and say, you know what, I better not sell out, because if I do sell out, I'll have 1 million drivers up my back that may vote me out. Damn right, we will vote you out. We have to call out the politicians that are working against us, right? You have to come up with strategies and ways to expose these individuals, right? And mark my words, Torsten Kuhnert, rideshare professor, will expose Governor Newsom through multiple different YouTube channels if he's a cheap sellout. I am relying on this guy right now because he, together with us, has the cards. He's got the aces, he's got the kings, he's got the queens, right? He can now tell them, right? You want some of these cards? What are you willing to give out, people? I represent the people. I represent the drivers. I've got the cards here. We've clearly won this 29-11, right? What are you willing to bring to the table? Your last offer that you made was $21, okay? But listen, California wants to see some money out of this. California drivers, international drivers, out-of-state drivers want to see a better deal than your silly 25 to 33 cents. Show us what you got, Uber and Lyft. Don't show us a way to circumvent the law, Tony West, saying drivers are irrelevant. They're not the core of the business. Thomas, I hope that one's not for me, because otherwise you're out the room. South Coast Ride, California wants payroll taxes and unemployment taxes. California wants something from Uber and Lyft. They're getting nothing. And again, for those who tuned in early on, probably one of the most interesting articles that I've read in the last month is how Uber and Lyft structured the company. They're registered in the Netherlands as an offshore company that is leasing the patents to this US companies to circumvent every single tax dollar if they make a profit. Of course, they're making deficits right now, so they don't owe any taxes on profits, right? But the moment these guys do show profits, guess what? They're not paying 0 cents to California. They're not paying 0 cents to the US economy, just like Amazon. Why? Because they found tax evasion loopholes in foreign countries, offshore accounts, offshore countries, to circumvent paying taxes into the US economy. So they're here making themselves rich, buying their penthouses, living the life, living the Silicon Valley, right, but are not paying into the system, are not paying into the education system, are not paying into the medical system, nothing. They're paying nothing, right? This is who these individuals are that we're dealing with. And again, in the true fashion of Uber and Lyft, Tony West, hey, I've found ways to circumvent the laws because you know what? Uber drivers are truly not the core of the business. We're a tech platform, right? And by the way, we're registered in the Netherlands. And by the way, we're leasing the software and the technology from that Netherlands-based offshore account so we can circumvent taxes. If you guys want me to make a video on that, I will break it down for you how these guys are skirting taxes, right? Professor, can I call to share something that happened this morning? Of course you can, right? Share 411. Don't call me now though. Text me, but not in the middle of the stream. I don't want to lose my chain of thought. So I'm asking Uber Hensmark, I'm asking Kevin, I remember your first videos that you were making and protecting drivers. The videos that I saw this morning, I'm extremely disappointed in them because it means you're showing cracks and you're showing signs of caving and not controlling this deal that we can control, right? They are feeding some YouTubers sound bites that end up in videos. And I'll tell you what the sound bites are. I'll tell you one of the very, very typical sound bites that is out there at the moment, okay? And they just sent it out in this email, right? They want you to still join them right now. As a result of what happened yesterday, you may soon be required, you may, not you will, you may soon be required to drive specific shifts. We'll determine those shifts, right? And stick to specific areas. We'll determine those areas where you can drive in. No changes have gone into effect, right? Right? Nothing is set in stone. Nothing's gone into effect. And we promise to let you know when they do. So there I am sitting in fear thinking, oh my gosh, this is what they're up to. They're up to nothing right now. They're up to spending their $90 million and trying to convince Governor Newsom that give us some sort of okay deal, because we just got our asses handed to us in this bill 29-11. And that is the power that you need to leverage. That's the only power drivers need to understand right now. So pretty much all bullshit like it's been from the beginning, says one of the subscribers. Right, so if you're already saying that, you obviously weren't happy with those terms that you had before. You cannot be happy with what you're earning right now. I'm not. And I get probably 200 to 300 text messages and emails per day about people complaining about the rates, right? So like, feel it out what's happening on the street. The people are unhappy, the drivers are unhappy, right? So knowing that there's the sense of unhappiness about pay, rates, the voice, benefits, etc. There's nothing there, right? They've wiped you down to an all-time low. I think Lyft is leading the insulting per mile rates right now. I think they've gone to the lowest of the low, even past Uber, right? And they have shown you their true colors over the last 6 months. And now you're showing cracks and you're scared and you're going to run back to them? No. You now negotiate the best deal. And the best deal can only be now negotiated with guys like Governor Newsom. You cannot and better not sell out drivers. And Hussein is right here. Why didn't they just raise the rate slightly and keep people happy? Why did they have to play Russian roulette and gamble on AB5? Hey, we could win this, right? And if we win this, we just keep on driving the rates down. No, why risk it all? This is the game that people that have a lot of greed and have a lot of ego, this is the game they like to play. But this game of roulette didn't land on the color where they put their chips down. They put their chips down on black. This landed on red. Now, oh my God, what are we going to do now? Oh my God, we just got our We just got a 29-11 whopping out there. What do we do right now? Hey, Tony West, legal counsel, go and get creative, buddy. Find ways to circumvent the law. See what I mean? Correct. He's saying that to avoid losing the ABC test, right? This is a Supreme Court ruling already, right? This Dynamics is set in stone. They were just trying to find out now to what degree does that ruling apply to certain gig worker industries, like, let's say, rideshare drivers. And they, again, ruled these people are employees. But if you want to come up with a better package, if you want to come up with better conditions for these now employees, talk about them, put them out there, show us what you got, right? Okay. Will you give them the flexibility of driving on multiple platforms? Will you give them the flexibility of driving when and where they want, and actually give them some better rates, right? Will you do that? Will you actually give the state of California some money, right, out of this whole deal? Or we're not going to get it on taxes because you registered in the Netherlands, but will California get something out of this? Will Colorado get something out of Uber and Lyft? Will Florida get something? Or will they always just say, hey, we produced yet another deficit and another big quarterly negative and another quarterly negative, so we don't have to pay. But guess what our end goal is? To get us to autonomous vehicles. So all of you are obsolete, so we can take on the next wave of transportation. Help us get there, right? Help us build our passenger and rider base so one day they can get into an autonomous vehicle. Let's grow and grow the company. Let's grow and grow the markets. Let's keep this in the legal system as long as possible. Thank you to Mr. Tony West, who has found a way to skirt this again and saying that drivers are not the core of the business. Let's buy time here, folks. Let's buy as much time as we can, board of directors, investors, so we get to the AV. So all of these people are Dustin, stay strong on this one, buddy. I mean, I can see that you're reporting on some of their fear tactics. When you're reading this verbiage directly to your subscriber base, they're going to get scared, right? I say that's another desperate email, right? When they have to say, as a result of yesterday, you may soon be required to drive specific shifts and stick to specific areas. It depends how the Kevins and the Dustins and the Uber hens are spinning the story. They are using these, this is part of their $90 million fear campaign, right? Now, the question is, how do we buy into it? Okay? If other YouTubers are spinning this story and saying, hey, maybe 85 was not a good idea, maybe we should better run and sign. All I have to say to you is, look at how Tony West is acting today. Look at how Uber has treated you over the last 12 to 24 months. Right? What did you do? Did you play basketball? Yeah. Come and say hi to mine.
Hi.
Got a heated discussion going on. He just came back from a basketball session outside. Now it's time for what? Homework.
Homework.
Yay, homework. Okay. Do you want to shower, get ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Do your homework and then I'll let you do some gaming. Go for it.
No.
That's my little man. Hopefully a future CEO of that company, right? You want to take over Uber one day and kick some butt, Ryan?
That's hard work. I don't know.
Hard work, he says. It is hard work, but hard work always means a good challenge. That's it, Sky. Kids, please don't drive Uber. Exactly, you're right on that. He's a cool little guy. I like the fact that after school, maybe do an hour of trampolining, hour of street basketball, you know, that balance. You've been at school all day, a little bit of a break, do some physical activity, go and grab a nice shower, hot, cold shower, and then jump in and do your schoolwork. And then if it's all great and you still have some spare time before you go to bed, give them some fun time. Good night, West Coast. Love you all. I got all my brothers and sisters backs till the end. Tim the Maniac, I appreciate you, and that's the attitude we got to keep on pushing forward. That's the attitude that I'm looking from the Kevins, from the Dustins, and the Uber Hens, versus detecting. Journey with Jordan, on it. Paperwork filed. To answer your question, do not succumb to their fear tactics. $90 million of fear tactics will start arriving in your inbox. The question is, do you have that to ride it out? No Boss says, Dustin, please keep speaking the truth. Don't cave into any strong feelings and emotions. Stay logical and common sense. That's what we're looking for, right? That this ruling here is felt everywhere, right? Is felt everywhere. The strongest economy with the biggest state here in California, where you have your Google, your Apple, your Uber, all of these companies, right? All, by the way, skirting and not paying taxes by registering on offshore accounts. But let's just say California, and those companies should be ashamed of themselves. All those California companies should be paying into the US system and bettering our system, bettering our economy, instead of circumventing taxes, all of them, including Amazon. It's time to pay in. You're taking from the people, you're earning from the people, you're selling them the smartphones, you're selling them the computers, you're selling them the technology, but you're not willing to pay a cent of taxes because you are registered overseas, leasing your patents to the United States. No, you're not. You're making the money right here. Pay into the system. Make the economy stronger, right? Well, you say, I don't need to be paying more taxes either. But who's making up the taxes? The little guys, right? So, I mean, do we have the creative ways? Do we have overseas, do we have our accounts in Luxembourg or the Isle of Man or in the Netherlands, in these little islands? No, we don't. We're paying our taxes right here through the IRS, right? But these big boys who are making the big dough. Dustin says, me keeping it real isn't fear-mongering, right? It's real possibilities. We all don't know. There's real possibilities, Dustin. If they're offering you real possibilities right here, if you cannot see through that, this, Dustin, is the most desperate attempt for them, post AB5, where they just got their asses handed to them, and we are reading this off and saying, hey, consider this, join. These are not possibilities, Dustin. I'm sorry. They're not possibilities, right? We've got it so far, and we've got them right there, but now we're willing to drop it and let it all go. That's not our ideal. That's not how I do deals at a table. I'm not spending months and weeks in preparation to negotiate a good deal for two sides to only let it all go on the big negotiation day or the day after, right? So excuse me for attacking you on that, but you've had a position before, keep it, right? Now we're reading the other possibilities, what could be. That in my eyes is flip-flopping, right? That in my eyes is not talking the talk, walking the walk, up to the point where you got them at the table and now you're going to surrender your best cards? No ways, guys. Come on, politics. Who's been involved in politics and has negotiated deals, right? Politicians do this all the time. They will look at the companies, they will look at their voters, right? And they will see how far can I push and not jeopardize my voters. My voters voted me in, but I will gladly take the money from corporate America, right? So the key is to leverage our politicians to get us what we want. We have to shine the lights on these politicians, and we need the help of the Dustins, of the Uber Hens, of all the other people to shine the lights on Gavin and Newsom, saying, hey, negotiate the best deal that you can in California, right? Because it's going to have ripple effects in my state in New Jersey, in my state in Florida, in my state in Colorado, right? Show strength, show unity. Yeah, so ride or die. So like, what do you say? Good point. So do nothing, keep your flexibility, and keeping it, taking it. I agree. These guys have shown you over and over and over and over again, month after month, week after week, day after day, what their intentions are, right? And they're feeding it to us, and they're feeding, you will eat this, you will eat this, you will take this, you will accept this. And now we're giving up everything. And to say these are real possibilities, I don't agree. You got this, what I call is a huge victory, and this is not set in stone. Remember, this Governor Newsom is now sitting down with him and hashing out a package, right? When we tell them that everybody is going to be driving shifts, everybody's going to be driving on one platform, everybody's going to be an employee, right? That is exactly what they want you to tell them. That is exactly what they want YouTubers to tell their base, right? Feed them the fear. Let them buy into the fear. Let them sign off on this, right? No, you can't. You've got to stay strong. Well, when clear evidence, when you say Newsom is just looking for votes, look, depending on how he handled this can cost him votes, right? If you thank you, Superman Strong Coach, I appreciate it. You greatly appreciate it, Professor. I will not cave, right? We don't have to cave, folks, right? We don't have to cave, right? We do not have to look at these scary possibilities that they're trying to force us. They've lost this round. Now our duty is to put the pressure on that guy, on that Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom, put the pressure on him. I'll make videos on him. Gavin, we know you talking to them, and we're watching. We're watching very, very closely, okay? And remember, in a state of 30 million people, you have 1 million people, they say, with Uber and Lyft in this rideshare business. Can you imagine what power we have? Do you think we have to cave if we stick together? No. We don't have to hit this thing and click on this form. I have a user, I have a lady that periodically sends me messages, and it's quite funny what I gotta read to you what she said. They seem to be forgetting about the drivers that they've screwed over and over again. I'm not going dark, folks, right? But I have negotiated massive, massive deals, $15 million real estate and commercial real estate dollar deals, sat at the table and negotiated these, right? You got to go in there and be able to bang heads with corporates and stick your ground when you're in this arena, in this big arena. Politicians know this arena. Politicians know there's millions of voters and there's millions and millions of dollars waiting for me for lobbyists. Politicians know that big arena. They play in that big arena every single day, right? And together, the drivers have to get into that big arena and be willing to play big time, right? And not cheap little tactics that begin scaring us and caving. So different YouTube personalities have different definitions of what it means to protect drivers. I just happen to disagree with Professor on this, and that's fine, and I'm perfectly fine, No Boss Life. So if you disagree with me on this, there's only one thing that I'm fighting for, right? Understand that. Knowing where we are now, knowing where we are on September 11th, the day after this ruling, all the build up to that ruling is that we got them right there. Why do you think right before that ruling they were throwing out desperate offers? Because they were desperate, right? They were desperate not to get this thing passed, and they lost. Now that you have it, the next big boy, Gavin Newsom and his cronies, got to keep on fighting for the drivers, right? You can come out the big winner here. But I will tell you something, I don't want to stay the big loser with what I currently have, because that's a lose-lose situation for drivers. It's a we win Uber, you lose driver situation. If you disagree with me on that, I don't think we're comparing the same numbers. I don't think we're looking at apples and oranges here. If you think that you have a great deal right now, right? If you think right now, hey, what I have is pretty and it's wonderful. No, I think what you have right now, if you're honest to yourself, you're putting in more hours to make up the deficit. You're grinding more hours out there each week instead of spending time down here suntanning on the beach and taking a walk. You're actually putting in more hours, just be honest, right? And that is the position that I will never, ever budge from. That what I have right now, what I see, what they're paying to my brother and sister drivers is not great. From a mile rate, from a minute rate, from a voice, we have no voice. There is no voice currently, right? There's no benefits. There's no medical benefits. There's no sick leave. There's nothing you have. So start negotiating a new set of tools that you can benefit from, right? And when Uber and Lyft say to Gavin and Newsom, hey, we really, really cannot afford to keep drivers in specific areas on specific shifts, it's not going to work with our model. They are right in saying that, but they're using exactly that wording as fear tactics, as fear marketing towards you, right? That's what's going to happen if you don't vote for us, right? But in the behind the scenes backroom negotiations with Newsom and politicians, hey, we cannot afford to do this. This is not working. So let's find a way. Our model operates very well around these conditions, around this data. Let's find ways that the state and other states can make some of our money and that we keep the drivers happy. I can tell you what, I speak to a few hundred people every day. I don't sense this massive, massive elation and happiness from drivers over the from drivers all over the country. I don't sense that, right? People come to me and say, hey, use this channel and leverage it to fight for something, right? Don't use your channel to sell us out to something, right? So, Professor, regarding the benefits issue, we all knew going into this that benefits, sick pay, social security, healthcare were not part of the deal. Let's not destroy the gig economy. Well, yes, it becomes part of the deal because everyone deserves that, right? So if you're okay with not taking sick pay or any benefits or any medical benefits, if you are truly prepared to drive every day the same way, your health deteriorating, and you can forego all of that, okay, cool, that's you. You can forego all of that. But the majority of the people should have a voice, should have some benefits, right? And should, at the bottom of the day, have better earnings. You got to make a livable wage. You're not making a livable wage right now. You're not even making the minimum wage. And that's what some people want to settle for. I will settle for not getting the minimum wage. Who are you if you're settling for that, right? You're settling for less than the minimum wage, right? No, the trick, the deal, the goal is to get a better package. And the only way that is achieved right now is by saying, okay, this is what the ruling said. This is how these legislators, assemblymen, senators, etc., voted. Now, what is the best deal you're going to go out and get for these drivers? I like what you say, drunken overthrow. Big changes coming soon, mark my words. But I'm saying big changes to our benefit, right? You cannot get worse than you are right now. You just cannot get worse than you have it right now, right? Right now is the bottom of the barrel, and anybody that's accepting the bottom of the barrel rates, what just happened to our drivers in Vegas, what just happened to our drivers in Arizona, that's the bottom of the barrel rates, right? When Dustin goes out and says, is Lyft falling apart? Is this the end of Lyft, right? Yeah, that is the end of Lyft if they want to continue down that path, but we're not going to be part of that path. You've got to fight for something here, my friends. What do you stand for? What do you fight for? Or are you perfectly fine to get less than the minimum wage? Because I tell you what, if you're honest and you look at yourself in the mirror tomorrow morning, just be truthful to yourself. I am driving more, putting in more hours, taking away more hours from my family and my kids to make up the deficit. If you're true to yourself, that is what you'd be saying, right? But you think, oh, you know, my earnings are still the same. I'm doing okay, I'm fine. But you're not being honest about the fact that you're putting in more hours. How do you negotiate with a union? Look, when you hear Edward Escobar explain how many people are involved in this, and everybody has an agenda. Everyone has an agenda. Unions have an agenda. Politicians have an agenda. Us drivers have an agenda to make more money. Uber and Lyft have their own agenda to try and get to autonomous vehicles. Everybody has an agenda. Everybody wants a piece of this gigantic, gigantic pizza pie, right? Everyone. Unions are coming in. Politicians are coming in. Hey, you're not paying taxes. You're not paying into our state. Drivers, we want more money. We want more better mile rates, 4-minute rates. Uber says we don't want to pay you anything. Well, you're not the core of our business. Everyone has a place in this big pizza pie agenda, right? But when you look at the big pizza pie, you can't say, hey, 3/4 of this pie here, Uber, Lyft, take it. Go and stuff your faces on 3/4 of this pizza pie. This other little quarter of the pizza pie, let's divvy it up between the state, between the politicians, between the drivers, between the unions. No, this is a golden opportunity to share this all out. Dylan, you want to come say hi quickly here? Huh? It's okay, come in. Ryan came in. So son number 2, who just celebrated his 16th, just walked in from basketball. I'll take the pepperoni. Give me some mushrooms, some pineapple, some good cheese. Let's divvy it up. With AB5, how we get paid, Sam. So this is not like, okay, the whole business model is changing now. How do we get paid under AB5? You see, if you are truly buying into the fear marketing of Uber, hey, now you have AB5, own it. Now you're an employee, you're going to get paid per hour, and you're going to have to be in a certain district. That is so not true, right? Now we enter the negotiation phase, right? Now we sit down with the companies and the politicians and rewrite some of these laws and get some rights, get some privileges, get some benefits, and get some better pay, right? And that will be better than it is right now. It will be better than it is right now. Why I say that is because right up to just before the AB5, these guys already were throwing way better conditions at you. They were willing to pay $21, right? So they will find a way to still have the flexibility, still give you the options of driving on whatever platform, but we're going to work out a package where everybody gets a little bit more, including the state. Why do you think the state is fighting like crazy? They're getting nothing out of this. And more people, which I like, are going now and finally going out and getting their TCP, right? Let this be a big wake-up call. Go out and get your own limo license, your own chauffeur license. Do reach out to me. My details are below. If you want knowledge on how to do that, you're talking $800 to $1,000, and you're off in a whole new direction where you're putting 100% of the monies in your pocket, right? There's got to be a big wake-up call to push for true independence. If you want to be a true independent contractor, your own boss, you form your own LLC, your own company, you go and get your own TCP, you go and get your own commercial license, and you go and put 100% of those money, less your car maintenance costs, in your own bank, right? This should be a call to action, folks, right? Dustin says, no matter what, drivers will have restrictions that come with any kind of benefits. There will be a driver cap for sure. That they will try and force on us. Absolutely. I'm not disagreeing with you. But it's up to us to get the very best out there, because right now what we're getting, that's cents and peanuts, man. That's not pay. You're working for you're working for nothing right now if you're going to keep on accepting these low rates. Sultan, do treat it as a business. You are a business. Figure out the ways to get the maximum for you, right? The very maximum for you. Hey, Gary, this is not about Dustin, you're wrong, Dustin, you're right, Torsten, you're wrong, Torsten, you're right. This is not what the conversation is. The conversation should be, how do we work together to get the very best package for everyone? This is not finger pointing, Dustin's right, Dustin's wrong, Torsten's wrong, Torsten's right. No, where everybody should be on the same page is like, how do we get the very best package for all the drivers right now? And leave the fear side out of it, right? Let's just leave their fear messages out of it. Let's pretend they're not even sending us a message. Let's pretend we're all at the same table. The Dustin's there, Torsten's there, all the drivers are there, and we figure out, okay, collectively, we're very powerful, we're very strong. What do we want out of this? I can tell you what I want. I don't want the current situation because it's peanuts, right? And the reason why I am putting in more and more hours into private trips is because I will not give Uber and Lyft my driving time if that is what they're paying me. Even in the SUV and luxury division categories, black division, I will not give you my hours if that is what you're trying to reduce me to. Why should I put in more hours than I did 6 months ago to make up what I made 6 months ago? I want to think smart here. I'm going to put in my hours into my private clients that are paying far higher dividends. Last night, $700. I didn't break my back. I just decided, you know what? I'm going to do less Uber and Lyft hours, because why should I put in an extra 7-8 hours a week more of my quality time to make up that deficit, right? To make up what I got 6 to 12 months ago, right? And that's the conversation you have to be having with yourself. And you can only do that by looking in the mirror and say, hey, where am I today? Where was I 6 months ago? Where was I 12 months ago? Am I working more hours per week? Is that a fact? Am I being true to myself? And instead of 40, am I working 45? Or instead of 30, am I working 35 or 40 hours right now to make that same money, right? You may be making the same money, but maybe, if you're honest, you're putting 5 to 10 hours more of work in, right? That's not life, my friends. That's not a lifestyle. Rather find creative ways to invest those 5 or 10 hours that you're putting in extra each week to start putting into your private trips. Start building that out. There's so much material out there. There's so many good videos to show you, hey, you know the business, you are a pro, you are a driver. Now, how do I package that up into my own company? Well, guess what? I go out there and form an LLC. I go to the DMV. I reclassify my car as a registered car to a commercial car. I get it weighed. I pay the state fees. I do a little bit of marketing. I get some referrals. I rely on word of mouth. I give people better rates than they're paying with Uber and Lyft. So instead of me handing over 50%, 50% back to this company, I'm putting this 50% back in my pocket. Maybe out of that 50 extra percent that I'm putting back in my pocket, I'm passing on a 10 or 15% incentive to my passenger, right? So that he sticks with me. Think beyond, think the next and the next step, right? Come up with plan B and plan C, because this plan A is coming to an end. I can tell you that right now. John Bauer, if we don't take a stand together now, where does it end? They'll keep taking and taking until we don't. That's what, John, thank you. I mean, if you cannot see with your own two eyes each week when you're comparing those earnings, wow, not making what I did last month, definitely not making what I did 6 months ago, definitely not making what I made 12 months ago, right? You got to be like, how far are you willing to go down? What are you willing to accept? When do you walk away? How many extra hours are you willing to do, right? I think that should be the real conversation here, not finger pointing. Well, that is beautiful. Dustin says, problem solved, bring back the 80-20 or the 75-25, right? That would be beautiful. I think we got a little bit spoiled back in that day. And I'm saying, hey, even if you get it to a position of 70-30, right? Even if they are willing to just try a different managerial style and take a little bit away more from the rider, instead of getting, now they're getting involved in the bus industry and foreign. They want to get involved in everything transport-wise, push the prices down to a minimum, drive everybody out of business so that they completely have the monopoly in every single sector of transport, and then offer them autonomous vehicles down the road. Some way or other, the guy is catching a bus right now. Maybe in 10, 15 years, they're all jumping into an autonomous bus in some rural area of Africa, right? But they want to control every step of the way. So this is very much a control issue. And when early on, I remember No Boss Lifestyle said, we need more competitors. That mixes it up, right? Competitors keeps the arena healthy. It's a wake-up call. You're 100% correct. Somebody just went by quickly. It's a big, big wake-up call. But the question is, are you willing to accept what they're paying you now? Are you willing to have those rates, those mile rates go down further and further? So if everyone watches my last live stream, then you see where I stand. Repeating myself gets old. Not you, Professor. Dustin, you know me. I 150% respect, and I've always helped wherever I can your channel. Every time in your room, I'll say, hey, go over and subscribe to him. He's bringing you quality, and I'll stick with those words till the very, very end, right? All I'm trying to say, and I'm not attacking Dustin here, all I'm trying to say is, are you happy with the way they are treating you currently? Were you happier 6 or 12 months ago? Would you like a little bit more, right? Are you willing to fight for a little bit more? Okay. And that's where I'm going. That's where I want to go with this channel. And knowing who the key, if you take the eagle approach and look at all the players, the unions want this, Uber and Lyft want this, other outside companies want this, politicians want this, drivers want this. If you take this eagle approach and say, okay, if we can keep it fair and everybody can make money in this game, how do we arrange this rideshare business, right? So it's not a monopoly taking all, from the drivers and not willing in any way to give back. And when I say give back, in form of benefits, a voice, earnings, because right now it's a fact. If you're in UberX or in Lyft, you're earning right now below the minimum wage. And that's where it is today. I'm not saying that's where it was 1 or 2 years ago. That's where it is today. And so you're pretending, hey, and I think this is reality. If we're honest to ourselves, is that, hey, you know what? I'm not really making minimum wage, but I'm also a little bit afraid to admit that I'm putting in more hours to make this little bit of extra money. So it looks like I'm making a little bit more than the minimum wage. The goal here is out of 7 times 24 hours, right? Is that the bulk of those hours are not dedicated to rideshare. It's got to be a health. You have your health, you have your family, you have your kids, and whatever other expenses you have, and you do want to fit in a holiday in there and a vacation, right? And the main thing is that you want to be around like for another 50, 60 years, right? You want to stay healthy, right? So don't grind yourself to pulp, work around the clock, burn yourself out, more and more stressed, more and more health problems. That's not the goal here. It's not the goal. Look, the good thing is, here's the good thing. And this is where I truly respect every single person in this room, every single one, right? No matter what you're putting out there, as long as you're not trolling and injecting hatred into this room. 1 or 2 people I had to flush, get out, right? But generally speaking, when you have a lot of people in a room and you've got a good, healthy debate breaking out, right? And I think that also brings out the best in politics, or it should bring out the best in politics if you have opposing views, right? The one wants AB5, the other one doesn't want AB5. The one will work for 33 cents per hour. The other one says, I will no longer work for 33 cents per mile. Sorry, I'm going to go and get another job. It is really healthy to have 100 different opinions, right? So we can exchange, communicate, make suggestions, and collectively, hopefully, work towards something better. Not versus this, fight each other. That doesn't go anywhere, guys. When you collaborate and you come up with solutions and you identify the problems and you fix those problems by coming up with problem solving, with suggestions, new ways, ideas that fix the old, I think then we're going in the right direction. I would carefully say their objective is to get to autonomous vehicles, right? As long as they don't have to pay, as long as they can pay as little as they can right now and keep these quarterly deficits and negatives down slightly, from 5 billion to 4 billion to 2 billion to 1.5 billion to maybe a $400 million loss, we're fine. Let's just try and get to the AVs. Let's try and create a monopoly here and control the entire transportation business, including freight, right? I've spoken to real truckers, the hardest of the hardcore drivers. If you think us rideshare drivers are hardcore, wait till you meet real truckers and have conversations with real truckers. I sit down with people, even at rest spots. I'll go to the trucker station and talk to real people. That's how I like to do it. Okay. If they share with me or email me and say, hey, what is Uber doing in our freight business, trying to change it all up and trying to screw us over our money, right, by rewriting the law? You think they're happy? No, they're just as unhappy as we are. Payman Ali, great face, Vegas. Our main problem is the companies are out of control. With their costs, they are 100%. With their greed, with their ego, with their expectations, with the expectations of shareholders, investors, they're out of control. They're expecting too much on drivers' back. And Payman Ali correctly says we need controls in place. And you know, Payman, who we look to keep those controls in place, hopefully our legislators, hopefully our politicians, hopefully the state that's supposed to protect us and have these laws in place. That is who we turn to and look to keep some form of control, right? Unless, you know, they're in bed with the corporations. Obviously, they don't have our best intentions in mind, right? But what a cheek of Tony West, the head legal guy, to say, you know what, we'll get around this law. Why? Because drivers are truly, truly not the core of our business. I would ask anyone and everyone. I would ask Journey with Jordan to make a video addressing Tony West. I would ask No Boss Lifestyle. I would ask Tododo, Unpoco, all of you guys, Carlos, Gary Cabetta, all of you guys to make a video and say, hey, Tony West, Chief Legal Counsel of Uber, seriously, is that what you think of us? Is that how you show the respect? That we are not even part of the company or not the core? We are the core. We are the company. We are the people bringing in the money, paying your salary. Tony, never, ever forget that. Okay, let's see. I'm not going to go on and on and on. How long have I been here? For 1 hour and 40 minutes. Dustin says, you know, Dustin, that's a really, really good question. Dustin says, what do you think about joining these unions? I'm getting more and more educated what these unions want out of it, and I don't like it. I don't like what I see, what I hear, right? I wish, love you back, Gary. Always have your back, my friend. No matter what issue comes up, you can turn to me, you know. Sorry, Dustin, what I would hope to see is that in these negotiations, right, we get to form our own true union by drivers, and that our government officials like Gavin Newsom say, hey, these guys truly deserve a voice, so form a new body. You now have unions, all the unions jumping in, trying to get dues, trying to get a lot of disgruntled drivers on their side. Hey, let's go fight them. You know, they want your money, but what are their true intentions? I think we're going to allow at about 7 p.m. tonight, in 1 hour, if you can, please tune in for Edward Escobar. He's going to explain to you who these different unions are and what their intentions are, right? And how do we move? There is not a person that I have found, right? And I still have to have a conversation next week with Loretta Gonzalez. I'm going to go down to San Diego office, one of the main people behind this AB5. But there is not a guy that I have met who has more information, wealth of information about this topic, Uber, Lyft, AB5 politicians, than Edward Escobar, who's been in there since the very, very beginning, right? He's been out there in the trenches since 2013, 2014 on this. He knows the unions, he knows the names, he's met with the people. I can tell you, if anyone, my friends, is the real deal, that's the guy. And I think anyone that tuned into that live session last time truly enjoyed his contributions. Let me just show you again so you know who the gentleman is. We're going to have him on at there he is with Gonzalez. This guy is so articulate, so knowledgeable. I listen and learn, right? I'm approaching this from a business sense. I'm a business person, right? And when I show up as a business person, I want to negotiate the best deal for my side. And my side are all the drivers, right? Dustin's side, I know where his heart is with all the drivers. I know there are specific YouTubers that truly have the drivers' backs, and Dustin is one of them. That's why he's catapulted himself right up to number 1, right? Is because he speaks the language of the street. Dustin is able to connect with drivers. So it is also our duty as a voice for driver. It is my duty. I would also think it is his duty. Hey, let's read, let's accumulate knowledge, let's speak to these individuals, let's speak to all these different sides, let's speak to unions, right? The companies obviously don't want to speak to us, right? They don't meet with us. There's many, many invites, right? But let's sit down and find out how we can get the best package, the best deal for drivers so that they don't have to put in that extra 5, 10, 15 hours per week to make up the deficits. I think Dustin said, all right, man, got to get the kids ready for bed. You stay safe. You have a great night. We give him a huge shout out, send him a lot of love to Dustin over there. Thank you for fighting the fight. Thank you for keeping the topic alive, right? And apologies if you felt attacked in my live stream. That is not my intention. My intention is to have an alliance, is to have an open line, is to have a text to Dustin, say, hey, are we on the same page here? What can we do? How can we improve things? And we don't have to always agree. That's the cool thing about humans. You do not have to always agree. You think a husband and wife are always going to agree in life? No, they won't, right? Yeah, here. Okay, I will wrap it up at 7 o'clock. You got to come and say hi, though. Put on a shirt and say hi. Okay, he wants to do his homework in this position. This is his little spot, so I'm going to free it up. I say thank you to everyone. And Dustin, I appreciate you. Appreciate everyone. Big audience today. A lot of contributors. We will be back at 7 p.m. with Edward Escobar. So please, if you do have time in 1 hour, in 1 hour exactly, tune back in for the next live stream. Thank you, guys.